Hello everyone, this is going to be a two-part video of concept designing and creating a character in Pixelart. This is for a platform game idea that I have, and I've sort of been flirting with this idea for a while, and I decided to spend a stream drawing the character. Now this is a female character based slightly on a design from a friend of mine who I've worked on a game as well. And this was his character, and my character I've already done. There's already a video of me working on that character as well. So this is slightly based off of the sort of the attitude of his character, but with obviously design differences. But it's just kind of the same age, same, both characters are ninjas, and this kind of is my take on it. So what I want to do is I want to have a character that is, that's a reference from an old stream. Apologize, I was talking to people on the chat because this was done over a stream. So what I want to have is a lot of bold shapes on the body that I can use. That's the reason why I choose to draw these kind of pants, because I have a very clear distinction between the thigh and the shin. So it's easy for me to split the animation and actually create very clear motions and animations that people, when they see it, they can understand it. So here, what I'm trying here is different poses. I'm starting with a pose here for the character. Now, I like the attitude of the pose, the sort of sneaking in, but I think that this one is a little too extreme. The legs are too far apart, and I can't really read the perspective of the legs that well. I do like the black and, well, it's gray, but black and white sort of approach in which you can kind of see the folding of the leg just based on its color. On this one, I'm kind of going more towards the visible neck, where you can kind of see that the shoulders are pushed down. I also quite like the hand being raised up, and I like that forearm a little bit more, just to sell the idea of foreshortening a bit better. I don't think I like the hand on the right there, because it kind of looks a little sort of out of place. Also, the legs are a complete mess. I redraw them again, and I keep sort of cleaning this up and trying to find a place where the shapes work with the pose. The hair is also meant to be like jaw height or chin height hair. And that is cool because it can be animated as a heavy thing, which is something that I eventually do, but it also is not long enough that it causes your animation times to be super increased and not work at all. So here I'm sort of fixing the legs in it, and this foreshortened leg is always very complicated to do, especially if you want to have some sort of highlight on your shins. And the reason I want to have the highlight is to suggest a backlight, which is the same light that's lighting up the back of the shoulders and the top of the forearm. That's kind of the one that I'm using. So I really like this one, and I'm going to play with color a little bit more for more separation. But I'm also going to change a few things. So this is supposed to be a female, and I'm not getting that female figure that well. So I'm sort of exaggerating. Maybe the hip shapes, maybe the shoulders are a little too wide. So I'm really cleaning up. This face is where I'm deciding that this is going to be the final look of my character. This is me sort of sorting the palette, lining them up by values. And even though this palette isn't really suited for nowadays, this is not how people organize this palette, it was very suited for old-timey kind of games because of the palette swaps. So if you would say, if your jeans are blue and your shirt is red, you would separate the red and blue shades, because if you wanted to change the color of your shirt, you would want to have a change on those indexes there on your palette. Also, the way that the vest kind of, the sort of jacket all over the inside clothing is drawn is for me to have a big hole on the side of the torso, because this way I can really twist the torso and the shoulders a lot when I'm doing animation. So you can clearly see, as a viewer, you can clearly see what the body is doing. So that's kind of the intention there. There's a few changes. You can look at the image on the left and the image on the right. I'm trying out for a cape here just to see if that adds to the character's shape. And it does. It does add to the character's shape, and it would be extremely interesting to watch it sort of wave in the wind. But honestly, it also sort of ruins the silhouette. So that there's no longer this kind of, because right now the character is in this sort of star position, right, where you have the arms spread out. Well, not too much because of the angle, because of the foreshortening, but it does help in creating an interesting silhouette, and I can make it really different from the enemies as well. Now from this shape, I'm doing my action running pose, and I'm really taking the torso's angle, just widening it up a little bit more as I turn the sort of the shoulders. And I'm also drawing it's basically the running pose frame or the action frame. I like the tilt of the torso. That's usually what you do when you want to animate a run. You want to have this sort of intent drawn on the character as a way to simulate that he's moving forward, because if the torso is really upright, it would look more like a jog. And this is me explaining the three-quarter view and why we see the front of the enemies and the front of the character as well. So this was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something, and I'll see you some other time.